What a danyo, what a dang, and go danyo, what a dang. This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Show them where we speak truth to power. Now here we don't criticize. But if we must criticize, we'd only criticize on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. It is all about the people. This is the voice of the people, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunamo, where we speak truth to power. And today we have a number of issues as usual, and we want to look at them headlong. And this one is coming from City Newsroom. And it says, I overlooked development in Ekumfi because you voted against Atta Kyea. And this is the President of the Republic speaking, Nana Akuffo Addo. I overlooked development in Ekumfi because you voted against Atta Kyea. And this is Akuffo Addo speaking. I read. Now, President Nana Akuffo Addo has explained that he overlooked development in Ekumfi because they voted Francis Atta Kyea out of parliament in the 2020 elections. Now, the president, in an interaction with traditional leaders from the Ekumfi area at the Jubilee House, expressed his dissatisfaction with the voting pattern in the Ekumfi constituency, which he intimated led to Atta Kyea's ousting from Ghana's parliament. He bemoaned that despite making him, that's Atta Kyea, a deputy minister, the constituent still voted him out. Atta Kyea was your MP, and I made him a deputy minister, and you voted him out in the last elections, and because of that, I did not pay attention to development in your area. I have to be honest with you, but since you have brought it up, I will pay attention to it. Now, the traditional leaders were at the Jubilee House to appeal to the president to send in development to enhance the living standards of the people. Now, despite losing the 2016 parliamentary election, Abeku Crystal came back in 2020 to defeat Francis Atta Kyea. Having listened to their plea, President Akuffo Addo assured them that despite his disappointment, he would do his best to develop the area. These utterances are most unfortunate and irresponsible. My brother, my sister, this is the father of the land. His name is Nana Akuffo Addo. When he was begging us to make him president, he said he will not be a president of the NPP. Neither would he in that vein be the president of one political party, but the rest of Ghana as a whole. Before he became president, he told us that we lacked development, all because of bad leadership, and that we were sitting on gold and wealth, but we did not have eyes to see because of bad leadership. He told us categorically clear that he voted into power, he would demonstrate that good leadership. And the blinded eyes that we have always had, that could never see the wealth, he would unveil and remove the scales from those eyes so we could see. My brother, years down the line, he became president. Thank God he became one. History would have never forgiven us. History would have said, oh, there was a man who would have been the best president of Ghana, but Ghanaians never gave him the opportunity. Now we gave him the opportunity. He has demonstrated nothing but lousiness. My brother, my sister, he went to the same Fanti area, the same area where John Evans Atta Mills came from, the same region, my brother, my sister, that produced great minds for the nation. My brother, my sister, the hatred for Kwame Nkrumah, who himself, my brother, my sister, came from that area. Central Western is still being shown clearly. After the Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia went to the area and promised them an airport, and also promised them, my brother, my sister, a certain beautiful wharf. At the end of the day, what happened? He promised them a harbor. At the same time, promised them an airport. They clapped for him. He went back, only for the president to go back to the same area and deny that they ever had any plans to build a harbor and also an airport. He went back to Accra. He was reminded of the promises he made, because it's easy to make promises, but it's most difficult to fulfill them. And this has been demonstrated by politicians in the past years and even now. It's so easy to make promises. Any idiot can make promises. My brother, my sister, he went back apologizing to the people. And he told them that there was no need for an airport. After all, there is one in Takoradi. And that they will do all they can to provide them with a harbor. Did the president forget the promise they made to the people of the area? Now today, the traditional chiefs of the area come to you asking you for one, development, and also asking you for the autopsy reports of the former president. And this is what Mr. President has to tell them. When I listened to the tape this morning, I had to bow down my head in shame that I have a president like this. You know what Mr. President said? He said, because you voted my MP out of parliament, I turned a blind eye to the development in your area. And Ekumfi is the same place, my brother, my sister, that gave birth to wonderful minds and brains like John Evans Atta Mills, who rose to the highest office of the land and went down in death whilst in office. Is the same people who were coming to demand development. And Mr. President is making it look like he's doing them a favor. Mr. President, do you have any personal money for any development? Why are you behaving as if Ghana money is your money? Look at this arrogance. You voted my MP out of power, and for that matter, I turned a blind eye to your development. What a joke. My brother, my sister, this is an impeachable offense. In fact, this is tribalism. This is party politics. In fact, if I could even call it some other thing, I would. You refuse to give the people of Ekumfi the much deserved development that you promised them. And now, because they voted your MP out, you decided to turn a blind eye. How different is this from what Kennedy Agyapong went to Bantama to say? Kennedy Agyapong, a few days ago, was in Bantama. And what did he tell the people? He said, yes, I was born somewhere else, but I lived in Bantama for a long time. I have 26 houses in Kumasi. In fact, so I am a Bantama boy. My heart beats for Bantama. I am ready to bring development here, but only on one condition. Not because I have lived. I love it when politicians get angry. You know why? When they get angry, they become undiplomatic and they speak nothing but the truth. In fact, they speak like drunken men. I have a certain friend, he's full of lies. And anytime I want the truth from him, I know what to do. My brother, my sister, he only needs a few thoughts of alcohol, and then he winds down and tells you all the truth. This is that friend who tells you, oh, you know, I have a PhD. You know, I went to Harvard and got a PhD. My brother, take him to a beer bar. Sit far away and let him drink some 2 thoughts of appetition. So you want the guts to tell the people of Ekumfi that because they voted your MP out of power, you decided not to develop the area. My brother, if this was some country with high democratic values, Mr. President would go down the drain. Such an arrogant president. How could you speak like this? And these are the people who say they deserve respect from us. Now the people of Akumfi, this is very simple. You went to him demanding an autopsy report of the dead Evans Atta Mills. At the same time, you asked him for development. And this was what he told you. My brother, what is Mr. President saying? That before he gives you development, you have to maintain his MPs in power. Before he gives you development, you have to find a way of coming to his residence or to his office to beg him to give you development. Was this what we voted for? Does the nation's money that is meant for development, does it belong to the president? Why is it that our leaders behave as if they are doing us a favor when they use our tax money and beyond to do things for us? Mr. President, I'm so ashamed of you. I can't wait for you to get out of power. Mr. President, I keep becoming ashamed of you every second. I leave it here. Now the next thing I want to look at is quite embarrassing, but I need you to come along. My brother, my sister, and this one is also coming from City Newsroom. It says, resign to save yourself and the government. And this is Atta Kyea to Oforiatta. But who is Atta Kyea at all? Remember, he was the head of a committee that sat on the police leak tape recently. This man is a lawyer by profession. He is also an MP, a sitting MP. In fact, and a big wig in the NPP. He is asking the finance minister, in the name of God, to leave, to save himself and save the government. My brother, I read. Now, the member of parliament for Achim Ebuakwa South, Samuel Atta Kyea, has urged the finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, to consider stepping down for both his own sake and the good of the government. The cause for Oforiatta's resignation have been growing for months, fueled by the country's ongoing economic challenges. Now, the opposition, National Democratic Congress, has been especially vocal, repeatedly blaming the finance minister for the current fiscal difficulties. In an interview on Face to Face on Tuesday, January 16, Mr. Atta Kyea emphasized the importance of self-reflection for Mr. Oforiatta, suggesting that he considers the position for his well-being and that of the ruling New Patriotic Party. For me, what is very frightening is the fact that you have a whole army of people saying, look, you've had enough. I think that could be a way for him to relax. Look at all the burden on him, one man. So it is his individual decision to make as to whether he would go or he would continue. Atta Kyea went further, stating that Oforiatta's resignation might even contribute to calmer waters for both the government and the nation. Wow. My brother, I like it when politicians open their heart and speak for the nation. Did you hear his words? Atta Kyea said that, look at the army of people who are all demanding that you step down. You cannot be right against all these people. That is what Atta Kyea is saying. The army of people, the multitudes, they are all crying for you to step down. But your arrogance is quite inordinate. Your arrogance, in fact, is abysmal. My brother, my sister, this is the worst finance minister we have had before Jesus Christ was born. This finance minister is worse than Judas Iscariot. My brother, my sister, he has betrayed the nation like Judas betrayed Jesus. In fact, the difference between Judas betraying Jesus and Kenofori Atta betraying Ghana is this. Judas was kind enough to betray him with a kiss. But this man betrayed us with a slap. Do you want to hear it again? I said the difference between the betrayal of Jesus and the betrayal of Ghana is this. Judas was kind enough to betray Jesus with a kiss. Kenofori Atta betrayed Ghana with a slap. They took us to the IMF after they lampooned us, lied to us that they will never go there. They even deceived the Honorable Kennedy Agyapong to go around ranting that we will never go to the IMF, and he was saying it on authority. And when we finally voted for the demonic e-levy, these hoodlums in power decided to turn around and say, oh, you know what we envisaged did not work. That was when this finance minister should have gone away. You brought up such a major policy and it flopped, and you have no shame to move out. Oh, what a shameless thing, man. My brother, you brought out such a gargantuan policy. The e-levy that was even fought by the sitting vice president, fought by so many big wigs of economics. But arrogantly, you are the knowing-it-all person. You decided to push your own agenda. You were even warned by the president that, listen, if this one fails, I don't think there's anything I will do. You assured the president. You flew sick people on the surgeon's bed, all the way from America, England, and Canada. Flew them into the country, including a sitting minister who was almost on the brink of death. You brought him all the way to the Parliament House in an ambulance, a waiting ambulance, to vote for the demonic e-levy. All these things that you did. Kennedy Agyapong had his brain opened inside out for surgery. They had to quickly close his brains again and spray cold water on his head so that he would rush quickly to come and vote. I understand why Kennedy Agyapong is so mad at these people. And I support Kennedy Agyapong. Next time I meet Kennedy Agyapong, my God, I'm going to hold his hand and say, listen, whatever you say about this party, I agree with you. They betrayed you. Kennedy Agyapong was on the point of death, lying down on the surgeon's table, as he himself told us. His head had been split into two, and they were reading his brains like a newspaper. But your message reached him right there in the hospital. The surgeon had to quickly close his head, stitch the head quickly, pour some cold ice on his head, and send him back to Ghana to come and vote for the demonic e-levy. And you told Kennedy Agyapong that the e-levy was so crucial, it will stop the nation from going to the IMF. A few days down the line, days I said, not years, not months, a few days down the line, you came back and said, oh, the policy failed. You know, the e-levy, it didn't yield as much money as we thought, so we still have to go to the IMF. It's an insult to the integrity of Ghanaians. It's an insult to the people who risked their lives from the surgeon's table to come and vote. It's an insult on people who left the hospitals to come and vote for this, especially that minister who was shipped in an ambulance. What do you tell them now? What kind of insult is this? And Kenofori Atta, please leave the place because you failed. Arrogantly, you say you won't go because you read the Bible every day and God tells you that you shall get rid of your enemies, so you will not go. You read Psalm 32, Psalm 46, and then Psalm 91. You read it and go out and say you have conquered your enemies. Which enemies? My brother, what Atta Kyea is saying, in fact, is the gospel truth. This man must leave. But would it even make any difference if Kenofori Atta leaves right now? How many days more to the elections? But for me, even if he leaves an hour to election, it will still make an impact. Every second this man stays in there, He's like Satan, slapping us with betrayal every single second. What arrogance is this? And we have another arrogant president who is sitting down there, kowtowing to the whims and caprices of this guy. Atta Kyea, thanks for speaking the mind of God. Now the next thing I would like to look at, and I need you to come along, my brother, my sister, and it's going to be quite brief, is another heartbreaking thing. Oh my God. Today we have issues. You want SMP. My brother, the next thing we need to look at, and I need all of us to come close. Hey, things are happening, oh. I said things are happening in this country. And if we don't open our ears and eyes, we would end up buried 6 feet deep. My brother, my sister, come along. Let's look at this. Hey, and this one is also coming from City News. And it says, don't fall for election year projects. And this is the Adan MP. My brother, what are election year projects? They wait until elections are coming, and then quickly they start some lofty projects. Now look at what the NPP is doing. Kwame Nkrumah built us a motorway somewhere in 1964. 2 years later, we kicked him out of power. My brother, my sister, as if to say, thank you for being kind, go away. Kwame Nkrumah left. He never came to this country alive. All of a sudden, this government that has been anti-Nkrumah is building the motorway. A motorway that has never seen any renovation from when it was built in 1964. 10 years before I was born. Today, if I'm almost 50, it means the motorway is 60 years old. No renovation. Potholes all over the place. Iron rods are greeting the roads. In fact, the roads have become death traps. They say they want to make it a 10-tire road now, right? 10 lane. Why the election year? General Hospital. They waited all this while after collapsing it and breaking it down, denying the people of good health care. All of a sudden, election year has come. They are going to build it. Baumia is busily running around, and he's building modern astroturfs. All of a sudden, from his own pocket. Are we safe? Are we serious? This is blackmail. They will build it 20% and tell you, if you vote us back, we will finish the 80%. They did it during the by-elections. You saw it. They went building roads. The moment the by-elections were done, they stopped. I leave it here. Well, my name Black Rasta. Time now to go. Grace Amwa is in the house. Grace, how are you doing? Everything good?